If you want to know what was the biggest mistake I made on my fitness journey that cost me 6 years of not seeing any progress, staying exactly the same, and also what I see so many other women doing and the reason why they're not getting the results they want, then keep watching because I'm going to tell you what is the biggest mistake you're making, preventing you from getting your dream body, and how to fix it to start getting your best ever results fast. What's going on, Fit Fam? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan Janice, the founder of Nomadic Fitness, and I teach you ladies how to build a banging, sexy, feminine hourglass body that you can maintain year-round with ease by eating more and working out less, meaning smarter instead of harder. So what is the biggest mistake that you are making that I also made for 6 years of my fitness journey? It is that you are only chasing fat loss. You are only ever trying to lose fat. That is the biggest mistake you are making. Okay, why is this such a mistake? We know that getting fit and toned, looking fabulous is not just about weighing less, and it's not even just about having less body fat. What you really want is to improve your body composition, what your body is composed of. And the two things that you can really control what your body is composed of is body fat and muscle. So this toned body that we want is a combination of, yes, there is fat loss involved. We got to take fat mass off our bodies. That is the mushy, flabby, squishy stuff that we don't like. But the thing that gets so overlooked and very misunderstood is the muscle gain. That is the smooth, firm, tight texture that is going to make everything look defined, sculpted, have all that sexy definition, all that sexy shape. Just gonna really give you this goddess body that you want to have that you can maintain year round. Okay, so a lot of women realize this once they get educated about it. They're like, okay, I want to gain muscle, I want to have muscle tone, however you want to say it, but you are not actually putting yourself in a muscle gain phase. So what do you need to do to be in a muscle gain phase? What does your body require for you to gain muscle? It requires that you go into what's generally called a bulk. And even this word alone scares so many women. It used to scare me because it's like, oh my God, bulk. I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to look like some jacked up, steroid, crazy bodybuilder man. No, I want to look sexy and feminine, small waist, pop and bubble butt, toned, sculpted arms, abs, and legs, right? Well, here's the thing. If you want that physique, that is a muscular physique on a woman, combined with having a relatively low body fat percentage. But the biggest mistake that I made for so many years that I see so many women making is staying in this kind of low calorie eating. So let's say somewhere between 1,600 to maximum 2,000 calories a day. Really, I find most women are way too afraid to eat over 2,000 calories a day. And that was me for 6 years. And guess what I looked like? I definitely lost weight because when I started at the very beginning of my fitness journey, I had definitely extra body fat. I was a little bit chunky and I was not confident. So I got started, lifting weights, learning about macros, and of course I got lean, I lost weight, I was petite, and it's not to say that I looked bad, but this was the thing, I just stayed this way for so many years. I was doing everything on my own for 6 years, and I thought because I had gotten lean, I had gotten a little bit of muscle, and for example, I had really sculpted, really defined abs, but I always wondered, why weren't my legs more toned? Why didn't they have actual shape, actual definition, the sexy lines, and especially why weren't my glutes growing any bigger? I really was just kind of small and kind of petite, and yes, I had the abs, but I really didn't have much definition, much shape. Now, all of this changed in the last, now it's about 1.5 years, when I finally said I've had enough. I've just looked exactly the same for the last 6 years. I'm tired of this. I want to get more of this feminine goddess, curvy, shapely, firm body. So I hired a coach, my own one-to-one coach. Even though I am a one-to-one online fitness coach and I have been for many years, I realized, I've just been maintaining for so many years. I've hit the limit of my knowledge. So I finally hired my own coach who looked exactly the way that I wanted. She was always talking about it on her social media. And then I was like, okay, she just needs to tell me exactly what to do and I will look like her. And guess what? It worked. I followed exactly what she told me to do. We're still working together. I'm still building more muscle, absolutely loving the process, so much more knowledgeable about how this all works and guiding my own clients through these amazing transformations as well. Here you can see the transformation I had in just 1 year versus 6 years of trying to figure it out on my own, and then 1 year of working with an expert who knew how to get the results I wanted, who had the results I wanted, and I was absolutely mind blown how much of a change my body had in just 1 year. So what's the reason that I was able to see so much more glutes, so much more defined legs, and guess what? Still keep my abs, still keep the defined lean abs, but this time having way bigger glutes, way more defined, way more poppin', actually having developed legs that actually have definition, and also building my upper body. Back when I was skinnier, I still thought, I had like a toned upper body, but now that I have learned how to bulk, AKA how to go through muscle building phases, and that you actually need to spend the majority of the time doing that, I have way more of a defined upper body. And it still looks very feminine. It's still petite, but it is toned. It has the shape, the definition that women want. So how do you also get these results, my dear? You need to embrace that you need to go into a calorie surplus. You need to do a bulk. If you don't want to call it a bulk, it can also just be called a build phase, a muscle build phase, okay? There's really only 4 phases that you can ever be in. The first is that you go into a calorie surplus, a moderate calorie surplus, meaning you're eating a little bit more calories than the amount that your body is burning. This is the bulk, the muscle build phase. And that is because in order to really put on some serious muscle, you need to be eating more than your body is burning, meaning you actually need to be intentionally trying to gain weight. This is a phase where you are trying to see the scale go up. You're not trying to see this happen super fast. It should be pretty gradual because yes, we're gaining muscle, but we don't want to gain a whole bunch of body fat. Now, the downside to being in a build and a bulk, and this is why so many people are afraid of it, is because this is not going to be the phase where you are super, super lean. You're not going to be crazy shredded, crazy cut in this phase because you are building, you are gaining weight. It is not possible that you can be like crazy shredded at the same time. You have to pick. If you want to be really crazy shredded, then that is doing the opposite, which is going into a cut, into a fat loss phase. Now, here is the big thing that keeps everybody stuck, that also kept me stuck for so many years. You think, oh, I just want to be shredded. I don't want to have any fat. I want to be so lean, so toned. But you will not actually look that toned. You will not have that much shape. You will not have that much definition if you don't have muscle underneath to show. So this is why you need to accept that you need to spend quite a bit of time. In fact, the vast majority of the time should be spent building muscle. That is because it takes your body much longer to build muscle than it does to lose fat. Your body can lose fat about 4 times faster than it can build muscle. So building muscle is very slow, very gradual, but trust me, this is what you want to do for all kinds of reasons that I'm going to get into. But the biggest reason is once you do cut down, once you do get lean, you want to have something to show underneath. Otherwise, you will just get lean and you won't actually have, certainly not in your lower body. You're definitely never going to get really great glutes, really great legs if you do not build muscle in this muscle building phase in a calorie surplus. Because your glutes, your legs, they are such big muscles, they are not going to grow if you are not eating an excess amount of calories. You need to be in a surplus to grow these big, big muscles. And also you will see more growth even in your upper body muscles as well. Like I said, my back, my shoulders, my arms are way more toned, again, still in this nice feminine way than they were when I had never done a build, because you just need to give your body excess calories to build muscle all over your body. So yes, one of the kind of trade-offs of being in this more muscle building phase is accepting that you're not going to be so lean. You're going to have a little bit of body fat. You are going to have a little bit of jiggle, a little bit of squish. For example, I'm now in my second build and I'm loving it so freaking much. But I will say I notice it especially on my hips this time. Like when I put on my gym shorts that are obviously kind of tight, there's a little bit of squish on the hips. Like I have to kind of position them so it doesn't look a little bit like love handles. But hey, I'm also growing so much muscle. My glutes are absolutely exploding. My legs look so toned, so firm, so defined. I'm also seeing my upper body fill out. So I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the trade-off of like, okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of squish right now. That is okay because I'm also building a ton of muscle, and I know that I want the muscle, and I know the next time I cut down, that is when I'm gonna look insane because I'm gonna have built all this muscle, and then I'll have gotten rid of the squish, the body fat parts, right? Which is honestly not that hard to get rid of after you do a good quality build. And then that's when you're gonna look like a whole new person. So that's what happened to me last year with my coach. Is we did 6 months of going through my first ever build, and then we spent the last 6 months of the year cutting down, and that is why I had a whole new body at the end of the year. Even though I started the year at the same weight as when I finished the year, but in between, so I gained 15 pounds in my build, and then I lost about 17 pounds in my cut, and that is why I had a whole new body underneath, even though I weighed the same weight. Obviously, you can see I have way more glutes, way more legs, way more definition all over, but this time I still have the abs that I was so desperate to cling to while I was obsessed with always being in a cut, always obsessed with chasing fat loss, staying at this 1,600, 1,700 calories a day, maximum 2,000 calories a day, lifting weights 5 days a week, and then wondering why I never gained any muscle. It's because you're not eating enough. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a quick breakdown of the 4 reasons why you should want to go into a muscle building phase and why you should actually spend the majority of your time in a muscle building phase. Okay, so this applies to people who are already pretty lean, already pretty skinny. Obviously, if you have a significant amount of body fat to lose, then you're not gonna be able to go right into a build because you have to lose fat first. Because obviously in a build, you're gaining weight. And yes, that is muscle, but you're also going to gain some body fat. Actually, when you're in a build, you're going to gain about 50-50. So for every bit of muscle you gain, you're gonna gain the equivalent amount in body fat. And I know that sounds scary, but here's the thing. Body fat on a muscular body looks very different than fat on a non-muscular body. So even though your body fat percentage may be getting a little bit higher while you're building, you're actually still gonna look really good. You're still gonna look very fit. You're just maybe gonna be, again, a little bit bigger, have a little bit more jiggle than you will at the very, very end of your cut. But I'm telling you, you're gonna love the way that your muscles look so filled out. And yeah, at the very, very end of the bulk, I will say you're probably gonna be a little uncomfortable by that point. You're gonna be ready to cut, but that is okay. That's just the very, very end where you feel a little too thick. But to everybody else, you're still gonna look really good. It's just like for you in your own mind, you know what it's like to be lean. And so it can be a little bit hard at the very end when you're like, oh my God, I just wanna get lean again. But then it's gonna be easy for you to get lean. So just kind of pushing through that last little bit of discomfort is gonna pay off so hugely after you go through your cut and you look like a whole new person underneath. So that is exactly where I'm at right now. I'm in my second ever build and I'm eating 2,600 calories a day right now. I'll share my macros with you just so you know, but just because I'm eating this much doesn't mean that you should be. I'm just sharing it to be transparent. It obviously depends on you, your body, your goals. If you're not sure what your macros should be, meaning how much protein, carbs, and fats you should be eating to achieve your goals, then make sure to go check out this video of mine because it's gonna walk you through how to customize it for your body and your goals. So I'm eating 2,600 calories a day. I'm eating 140 grams of protein and I'm actually weighing exactly 140 pounds right now. So I've gained 5 pounds in my build so far. It's been about 2 months of intentionally building. And honestly, I am really happy. Like I said, I noticed a little tiny bit of squish on my hips. I noticed, yeah, like my waist is a little bit less small. My abs are a little bit less defined, but overall, my abs are still very clearly there. And instead, I'm just noticing so much great volume in my glutes and legs. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm just having so much fun in this process and really enjoying that I can eat so freaking much. So 140 grams of protein, 75 grams of fat, and 335 grams of carbs. I'm literally eating so many carbs, and that's what's gonna happen to you when you go into a build, into a muscle build phase. Is you're gonna realize like it's just carbs all freaking day because carbs is the main thing that's going to help you to really build muscle in your bulk. Okay, the second reason that you should want to do a muscle build phase, and I actually think that this is one of the best reasons of all, is that it is way more flexible. It is a real life. You have conditioned your body to eat so much food, so your body is burning so many calories all the time, so you get to look amazing in a bikini, in a crop top, in a little pair of shorts, because you have gone through the work of building all this muscle and then getting lean, and then once again, getting your calories up so you can maintain it. So that is me. Like I'm eating these 2,600 calories a day and I feel so good in all of my clothes. I mean, of course, yes, sometimes I'm like, I would love to get like a little bit leaner, but overall, I'm just so happy because I'm like, I get to eat so much food. I literally just took a trip to Miami. I felt so good getting into my bikini, eating whatever I wanted, having some drinks. So you have so much flexibility in this phase because when you're in a cut, that is the time you gotta be all in and completely committed to the cut, being in the deficit. So that is definitely a time you cannot be as flexible with your food, with drinks, with just like going on trips and stuff like that. So there's a huge advantage to being in this muscle build phase that it is way more flexible because you're not trying to get lean right now. So you can eat all of this food. It is a lot easier for you to go out and eat and pick something that's, macro friendly, but still just have that flexibility instead of having to prepare everything yourself like you have to do in a cut where you have to measure everything, bring your Tupperwares everywhere. It's definitely more of a commitment in a cut. And obviously the payoff, the fat loss is really amazing when you're in it, but having this flexibility while you're bulking, while you're building is so great. I love it. I just feel like I can actually live my life and look great in all my clothes and have so much flexibility. Okay, the third reason that you should want to do a muscle build phase is also it makes your workouts so much better. When you're eating all this food, when you're eating especially piles of carbs, this is your opportunity to just get so freaking much out of your workouts. And I mean, this is obviously literally the point of going into a muscle building phase. Is like, you don't just eat a ton of food and then do nothing. The whole point is you're eating that food so that you can train hard and then you can actually build some muscle with all of that food. So because you have so much energy, you can work out way better. You can push yourself way harder. You have so much energy. You will be amazed at how much weight you can lift, how many reps you can do, how good the workouts feel. So this part is really fun and it's honestly something you won't really understand until you go through it yourself. Like I remember being so surprised when I was first going through my first build and realizing like, whoa, I can do so much more in my workouts. This feels way easier, way more fun. And then you get this really awesome pump right afterwards. Like your glutes are gonna be like zoom, like it's literally gonna look like two balloons in there because your booty is gonna be full of carbs. So this part is really fun. It's really satisfying. And then the other part is you get to recover really well, right? Like you train really hard, you have the energy to train really hard, push yourself hard, and then you're not gonna be so beat up, so sore and all of this afterwards because you have so much food so your body can recover. It has the energy to actually work with. Versus again, when you're in a cut, that's gonna be something that you're gonna notice, and it shouldn't really be till more towards the end of the cut that you maybe notice this, but yeah, definitely you're eating less food when you're in a cut because you're trying to lose body fat, and so because of that, you're definitely gonna feel more exhausted, more sore, not have as much energy to train as hard as you want. So this is a huge advantage of being in a build that is so much fun. And then the fourth and last reason you should wanna do a muscle build phase is because it's going to make your cut so much easier. Oh my God. Obviously, if you build and you get your calories up to, let's say 2,600 calories, like what I'm doing right now, when I go into my cut, I'm only gonna have to drop to 2,200, let's say, to start, maybe even 2,300 to start my cut, which means that is still so much food. If anything, the amount of food I have to eat in this build right now is actually kind of overwhelming because it's just like so much. So I'm just eating all day and I have to eat really dense sources of calories. Otherwise, I literally will not be getting enough carbs to build this muscle. I'm eating 2 bagels a day. I'm having a huge thing of Gatorade every single day because otherwise it would just be too hard for me to get all the carbs in. So I have to kind of get a little bit creative with how to actually eat all of those carbs to build this muscle. So then when you first go into the cut, those are really just small changes that you're gonna have to make. Maybe it's like, okay, instead of 2 bagels a day, I'll just have 1 bagel a day. Like it is so easy for you to make the transition because yeah, you have so many calories to work with. And it's really only gonna be more towards the end of your cut that you feel maybe kind of like, all right, now I'm starting to feel the lower calories. It definitely feels a little bit more restrictive. But even then, at the end of my cut, this last cut that I did at the end of 2023, my absolute lowest calories was 1,750 calories a day. So obviously that was a big drop from 2,600 where I finished my build, but I still felt like it was a lot of food. I was still eating 175 grams of carbs. So that was the absolute lowest amount that I was eating. And that was just a short period of time. And then of course, when you actually do cut down, you're gonna have so much to show underneath. Your waist is gonna get so snatched. Your booty is gonna be out of this world. You're gonna have these really toned arms, really toned legs. And that never would have happened if you had only been in this fat loss, obsessive, low calorie, and thinking that you're gonna build muscle, you're gonna build shape, when really that's impossible if you you are not in a surplus. Obviously, you can build a little bit of muscle, you can get a little bit of tone definition, and that was me for so many years. I was a little bit toned, I had a little bit of shape, but now I have so much more. Like, I cannot believe it still. When I go look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, I literally cannot believe this is my body. And I'm eating 2,600 calories a day. I can put on a bikini, look amazing. I have so much flexibility. I get to have way more free meals every single week, meaning when you're in a cut, you know, you should really only be having one cheat meal or a free meal once per week. When you're in a build, you can have 2 or 3. So that means you get to have 2 or 3 days where you get to kind of just chill a little bit and eat out and, you know, still make good choices, but there's just more flexibility. So honestly, it is so worth it to go through a muscle building phase. It is so much fun. I cannot recommend it enough. So I won't actually talk about how to do a muscle building phase in this video because that would require a whole separate video for me to get into the details. But if you would like to know how to go through this process, how to reverse and then get into a build, how to cut, how to build, let me know in the comments and I will make a video on it. And of course, if you just want to have your hand held through this process of knowing exactly how to eat, exactly how to work out, how to build all this beautiful, sexy muscle so you can look and feel amazing year round while eating a ton of food, not feeling restricted, then of course, that is what we do inside of one-to-one coaching. We get you ladies an amazing transformation, absolutely blow your mind, build the body you thought you never could have while eating a lot of food. So if you're interested, then click on the link in the description box to fill out an application and we will have a chat to see if it's a good fit for you. All right, thank you so much for checking out this video. Now next, I want you to go watch this video here where I'm gonna take you through one of my glute and leg day workouts so you can see what it's like to train to really build some serious muscle on your lower body. So I will see you in that video.